Hey, good morning, everybody. So, where is the snow? I mean, okay, we got some good snow in November for the Great Lakes. That's good and all. Good news and all. We actually got 5 feet of snow here in Ohio, in Ashtabula, where that's not too common. But things will start to get cranky again. I believe sometime in January. There's going to be a stratospheric warming event which essentially provides blocking over the North Pole, which suppresses a lot of cold air down south towards us. And okay, so that's one thing. But let's just take a look at our 15-day snowfall outlook. So just just kind of get this in for a second. And what we see here is a lot of snow here in the northwest, and then we see a swaths of snow here in the Midwest and Northern Plains, also extending to the Great Lakes, but nothing really organized. Um, I believe, and I'm not an MJO expert, but I know that when the MJO is in an active phase, we're going to have more luck and um, more fun in games in terms of snow and cold here in the country. Now, again, I'm not an MJO expert, but I will tell you that if we get the NAO to go back negative, that is one thing I know for certain will enhance cold and snowy weather in the east. And how do I know that? Well, I know that because one reason is because the NAO has gone negative since November 15th through all the way through basically overall predominantly overall since all the way to December 15th. So, and what did we see then? We saw the whole we saw this took a little while to feed back and to kind of have enough momentum, but eventually when it was negative, you see it drop negative November 15th, but then when it got all the way to December 1st, then we started to see some cold air in the USA, and that's what led to that lake effect snow outbreak we had. I believe that started, I think it was December 1st or late November. It was like November 31st. I'd have to look that up. But anyways, the point is that when the NAO goes negative here, you get cold air in the eastern half of the USA and also usually favors snowier than average conditions. So what will happen next, Tyler, in the world of weather? Well, let's take a look at our NOAA 8 to 14 day temperature outlook and see what that has for us. So, um, again, not too promising in terms of our next 2 weeks. Looks to be um, uh, warm, and I believe this is dry. But my computer is having funky color issues right now. But I believe this is dry, but I'd have to check that out in a second on the NSEP model site. But again, this is definitely warm. I know that these colors here in the central USA. And okay, so this looks to be precip here in our 6 to 10 day outlook. Um, and this is going to be a lot of rain so you can even see it says above average precip here for the Northwest. So let's take a look at our handy dandy NSEP GFS computer model and what that has for us in the next 2 weeks. And we're going to kind of loop this through and check this GFS model out here for our service parameters. So here we go. Again, right now is our current picture, and we have a lot of cold air in the east and the northeast. Very early, so I need my coffee. And then here's the big thing. Here comes around Christmas Day. So now we're about to, let's see, December 23rd. Okay, so, and then we see a lot of warm air make its way, but then we do see a snow system, though, make its way through Wisconsin and Michigan. So some places might see some snow on Christmas Eve there in Michigan and also in the interior New England and Northeast states. But here's Christmas Day. Again, pretty warm with the exception of the Northeast. Still cool there. And then by Christmas Day, we see a little swath of precip slide its way through the Mississippi River Valley. Then things are going to start to speed up really fast as we head into the mid-range. December 28th, again, a storm system, but it's going to be a mainly rain system, as you can see there in the east. And then here comes New Year's Day. Start to get an outbreak of cold air, and this is interesting because this is getting really cold, and that's where I want to halt at. So this is going, let's pause it right here. This makes sense, one. So I don't doubt this as just a stray model run that might be wishy-washy. It might be here today and gone tomorrow, but this makes sense. So this is January 6th of next year, of course, of 2025. And this is just a very extreme look of Arctic air. This is like the polar vortex nearly dropping south. It looks like it. I don't know if this would classify as a technical polar vortex or not, but again, we see that kind of dome of polar air right there, that 480 line, right in Canada, and you can just see how close these isobars are. These blue temperature isobars, and this is signifying some very extreme cold air. So this makes sense because we are looking to have some sort of. There's been talk of a lot of cold air coming in January, and hold on, CFS monthly forecast. And I've heard talk about a sudden stratospheric warming event. I don't know if that's actually going to be the case, but I've heard a lot of talk that this January might be very cold. Here's our January forecast from December. I'm going to try to shift this over here. So again, it's not looking too cold here, but let's take a look at some different models because, one model doesn't determine everything. So let's take a look at weatherbell.com, or long-range models from Weatherbell. And again, they have a great source of models here. Highly recommended site. Just type in my credentials here, password and whatnot. Okay. All right. So here we go. We're going to take a look at our CanSIP seasonal model, temperature anomalies. So here is for, let's see if I can zoom this in a little bit. Maybe I can. Anyways, this is for December, January, and February of 2024 to 2025. And just very cold throughout Wisconsin and Michigan, Ohio, Indiana, Illinois, Iowa, Minnesota, North Dakota, South Dakota, parts of Minnesota, parts of the Northeast, New York, Pennsylvania. So this has an interesting look to the winter for sure. Let's take a look at this for a second. It does have a classic La Nina, really. So that's the interesting thing about these models, guys. They really do have work. They have their intricities or whatever, intricities that make them work, and they kind of pick up on the La Nina. And it's interesting how they're programmed and how they really can pick up on something such as the La Nina and see where the cold air is going to be. And this is where La Nina would typically bring cold. And it's not magic, it's science, but it's very interesting nonetheless. This is February of this year, and this is just a really cold. Wow. Especially for the northern plains. Here's January. Here's December, the rest of December. So that's a very cold model for this winter. I don't want to go overboard on the models. I just wanted to show you that one model that's differing from a lot of other models, such as what we just saw, the CFS V2, which showed a warm January. Let's take a look at our European seasonal, though, first of all. Our temperatures, anomalies for the season. Again, nothing too much to